And speaking of NFTs, I have a question for you because, recently celebrities, including yourself, you have huge followers. Do you see a good use case for celebrities having their own token, their own NFT, like, Floyd Mayweather? There's some characters out there, right? UFC fighters. Is that a good use case for NFT, do you think, or?
NFTs are fascinating. They change all the time. If you look at the definition, it's non-fungible token, which can mean almost anything.
Yeah,
It could mean a piece of real estate on the blockchain. One of my students the other day said he put one of his racehorses on the blockchain, and that blew everyone's mind. It could be a business. It's just something that's non-fungible. Right now, we're seeing it expressed in usually digital art and JPEGs and GIFs that sometimes seem to have very little value to anybody in the normal space in the art world, and yet we're seeing them, the CryptoPunks and the Degenerate Apes and the ETH Rocks, for God's sakes, going for millions of pounds when there's 100 of them, they're black and white JPEGs, and it clearly says this has no value. But there's something happening here. The big mistake, I think, in NFTs, and this was told to me by Raoul Paul, who's a great visionary, he runs Real Vision, and he said, the mistake people make in NFTs is thinking, how can I extract value from my fans with this NFT craze? He said the NFT has to add more value to your fans. So I'm hesitant to jump in for this, what might look like an easy land grab. And I think you need to think about, how can I add value? And I think every artist needs to challenge themselves. There's something you're missing that the fan wants that in the past you couldn't deliver. So right now, if you're an artist, it's an MP3 that goes via Spotify, and that's maybe your only relationship with that fan. Mayweather, maybe you buy a pay-per-view. How can you be creative with all these curious things? Maybe it's a membership, maybe it turns into something else, maybe it has all these other aspects of it. That's where I think NFTs add value and they have long-term perspective. So right now I'm watching, but I want to make sure when we make a move, it's this intelligent value-added move. And I see both kinds happening right now. I see some what look like mistakes and land grabs, and I see some that look like really intelligent plays. And again, what's the future? We did some big episodes last year with some controversial people. One of them was the largest live stream of a human conversation in history. Does someone want to own that NFT? These are the questions I'm asking myself. And I know they do, but I'm still waiting until we have something that I know is going to add value. So that's what I see, but this space is real. Art always precedes society. We both like to break dance. If you look at hip hop in New York City in the 1970s, it was something that happened in the Bronx, and it grew out of a lot of pain and hardship, and it created something that's probably a multi-$100 billion, $1 trillion industry. And it started as a bunch of kids spinning on their heads, as graffiti, as two turntables and a microphone. And I think we're seeing NFTs like, what's that weird thing? It's actually a sign of the future. So I think we need to adopt it and understand it. And I'll say one more thing. Famous futurist named Marshall McLuhan has a phrase, which is, the medium is the message. And what he's trying to say is, when you change the communication medium, that actually is the message. So when you went from spoken word to the written word to the radio to films, films to television, now television to YouTube, what you and I produce, it changes, and the message is in the medium. And so what we're seeing here in NFTs is the medium is now blockchain, and that's the message. It's not like modern art that's on your phone and digitized. It's a completely different conversation that's going to be just as new to us as radio was, as movies were, and as YouTube was. So that's the way to look at this space.